Information and Communication, Honorable Kingsley Fanwo. Thank you for granting us the audience on this exclusive interview with Arise Television. Yesterday, the Social Democratic Party spokesperson in Kogi State appeared on Rise Television, and he raised some issues as it concerns the activities in the state. Then let me start with this question, Mr. Kingsley Fanwo. Yesterday, Mr. Ijele accused the governor of lopsided appointments, accusing the governor of turning Kogi State to an allocated state. What is your take on this as raised by Mr. Ijele?
Thank you very much. I'm happy that you are the one that is calling him the spokesperson of the SDP, because issues were raised even during the interview, asking him which of the factions he belongs to. So I would not want to run into trouble with SDP by calling him the spokesperson. I know him to be Mr. Ijele, and I listened and watched everything that he said yesterday, especially the one that has to do with appointments. And it is quite unfortunate. I think we need to get a background of what was the main problem. If you looked at their campaign in 2023, the SDP campaigned on ethnic platform. Their campaign was basically about the fact that no, it has to be the turn of this ethnic group. So they did not see a united Kogi State, and that is why they've not been following the trend of appointment under the present administration. On the other hand, Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo campaigned based on unity and togetherness. And that is the reason those people, the other camp, are still living in the past when Kogi was largely divided. Going straight to the question, I also listened to him saying that even the Commissioner of Finance is from Kogi Central. The Commissioner of Finance in Kogi State is from Yagba East Local Government Area in Kogi West. You know, they dwell on lies. They spring on lies. And that is why you could struggle yesterday to know whether what he was doing was activism or communicating. And you know, in activism, you could have your way with such things. But you know, when it comes to communication, it has to be factual. It has to be strategic. When you look at appointment in Kogi State, you would realize the fact that what we have is what we call an even spread of appointment. Yes, the governor is from Kogi Central. The deputy governor who ran on the same ticket with him is from Kogi East, where Ijele came from. The top person, when you talk about the executive hierarchy, is the secretary to the government of the state. The SSG is from Kogi West, and then you now go to the chief of staff. The chief of staff is from Kogi Central. Then you have the other people in the executives. And when you talk about the commissioners that were appointed, yes, we have some commissioners from Kogi Central, such as the Attorney General of the state, such as the Commissioner for Works, for Health. But when you also come to Kogi West, you have the Commissioner of Finance, you have Commissioner for Education, you have Commissioner for Information, you have Commissioner for Innovation, Science and Technology, you have the Commissioner for Environment, you have, see, you can go on and on, water resources, and all of that, including the new one, which is the Commissioner for Livestock Development. It is a very strategic ministry that the state government and LPRES, you know, the World Bank through LPRES is also supporting the state government in livestock development. So it is a very strategic ministry. All of these are from Kogi West. When you go to the east, the Commissioner for Agriculture is from Kogi East, Culture and Tourism, Youth and Sports, and a good number of the other commissioners are from Kogi East, including transportation and so on and so forth. So what we have is what we call spread of appointment. So you would see from this analysis that what he went to the TV to do yesterday was to lie and manipulate the unsuspecting audience of Arise TV. But I thank you for your objective journalism by giving us this right of reply to let the world see that all he said yesterday were absolute bunkum, things that were to incite the public, because they are still struggling to cope with the devastating blows they received in the 2023 governorship election.
Okay, having said this, another issue raised by Mr. Ijele is that the governor has been attracting series of projects to the Central Senatorial District. How true is this allegation?
Thank you very much. You know, it is also quite ludicrous. It is unfortunate that he was making such allegation. It is not that they don't know the truth, but they are not comfortable with the truth. And what I think they should do is to always come to the public to spew falsehood and make unfounded, untrue, ludicrous, laughable, false allegations against the government. When you, the issue of projects that he was talking about, he said in the last exco, some projects were approved. Those projects were in Kogi Central. Can we go and build the quarters of the Confluence University of Science and Technology Teaching Hospital? Okay, can we go and build the quarters in Kaba or in Ida? It's not possible. We have to build it there. And that is, I think, is part of the projects that he was referring to. This same Mr. Ijele did not talk about the fact that we are doing a multi-billion project at the Prince Abubakar Aldo University Teaching Hospital in Aiba. It's a multi-billion project. This Mr. Ijele is not talking about what we are doing in collaboration with the World Bank through ACRISAL that is costing billions of naira on ecological intervention right there at Ampa. He's not talking about the hundreds of primary healthcare development projects that are going on in the state, including in Kogi East and all over the state. What is there is that we have three main universities. We have the Prince Abubakar Aldo University there in Aiba. We have the Confluence University of Science and Technology there at Osara. And we have the Kogi State University there in Kaba. So you can see that all of the universities, it is like a construction hub as we speak. You know, the state has been turned to a construction hub. And you see, even some very reasonable opposition leaders are beginning to ask questions as to where the governor is getting the funds to be able to fund this project. If you go to Kaba right now and see all of the projects that are going on there, you will be marveled at the speed of progress, the rate of progress of those projects. The same thing is happening there at Osara. The same thing is happening at Aimba. So this is a triangle of unity. And this is what we have come to do as an administration. This is what is contained in the manifesto of the governor, that is going to ensure unity, is going to ensure equity, is going to ensure transparency, is going to ensure accountability. And that is what is happening in Kogi State. I think Mr. Ijele needs to format his consciousness to begin to ask himself questions. There was a time in this state that if you have 25 permanent secretaries, 19 of the 25 will come from one senatorial district. He needs to ask himself questions. What were they talking about that time? There was a time in this state that if they award 20 contracts, 18 will be at a particular place. These things stopped. Those things stopped in 2016 when we begin to talk about equity, when we began to talk about unity, when projects began to feel the spread across the state, when the people at the grassroots began to see that, yes, governance has started. These are some of the things that he needs to probe his consciousness about and ask himself questions that we have moved from that era. It is now an era of equity. If it is happening in Ida, it is also happening in Iyara. It is also happening in Adavi. It is also, so it is about unity. And that is, I think that is what they are not comfortable about. They should be bold enough to come out and say the equity that is happening, they are no longer comfortable with it. And then you see, part of the blows, you know, boxers are people that I don't envy at all, because at some stage in their lives, they began to have a lot of issues because of the blows they've taken to their heads. You know, the blows of 2023 was devastating. You know, they were campaigning on ethnic platforms. They thought that a single senatorial district can make anyone become governor in this state. And one of the benefits of the 2023 poll was that we now realize the fact that no single ethnic group can produce a governor in Kogi State. That is going to ensure what I call political unity. We are having unity in terms of development right now. We are having a unity in terms of appointment. But what is going to forge us together strongly and glue us together as a people is the realization that no single ethnic group can produce governor in Kogi State anymore. So they will have to work with others to be able to produce governors. If you want to be governor from Kogi West, you know you have to work with Kogi Central and Kogi East. If you want to be governor from Kogi East, you know you have to work with Kogi Central and Kogi West. If you want to be governor from Kogi Central, you know you have to work with people in Kogi West and Kogi East. That is the unity that, you know, 2023 has further reinforced. And going forward, you will see that we are becoming more united than ever.
Okay, having said this, during the course of the interview yesterday, Ijele claimed that the governor had no manifesto, and when he was asked, he was confronted with the fact that the governor has also failed with his promises and many more. So, what do you think about his statement? Are you saying the governor has not kept to his promises?
I think his faction of SDP would be very disappointed with him yesterday. You know, I'm not envying Ijele. You know, right now, his faction of SDP will be so disappointed because he went there to really disappoint them. You know, big time yesterday. How would you say that Governor Usman Ododo did not come out with manifesto? I was part of the journey from day one. I was part of those who worked on the manifesto. I was part of those who distributed the manifesto. I was part of those who ensured that it was electronically and physically distributed across the country, because he wanted the people to hold him accountable. And for you to be held accountable, you must come out with a manifesto. So we had a manifesto. And I was very happy yesterday when my friend Rufai said that, no, don't say that he had no manifesto. These are some of the promises that he made, especially healthcare, education, and all of that, security, and and when you look at those key areas, let me just pick agriculture, education, and healthcare. You would see that in agriculture, when he came on board, Kogi was battling with a lot of food inflation. It was so serious. And within 10 months of his assumption of office, that inflation was drastically reduced. This was not a magic. This was not an accident. It was because of the conscious implementation of the agricultural revolution policy of the governor that were also contained in the manifesto. And at the end of the day, you see now that Kogi is one of the brides when it comes to food production in Nigeria. Recently, Lagos ensured that Kogi was a part of the Food for Lagos project that is going to take about 500 billion naira. And that will ensure that what we produce here will have a ready market, and also the value chain will be strengthened. And through Acquisal, we have been able to put a lot of farmers on the farm, a good number of them, thousands of them, with capital, with financial capital, with agricultural machineries, with seedlings, improved seedlings and breeds of livestock and all of that. So Kogi is becoming the agricultural nerve center of the nation under the leadership of Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo. That is the promise fulfilled. When you come to education, you would realize that even from the universal basic education level, he has been able to invest heavily in it. When you come to secondary schools, is it the one in Okehi? Is it the one in Okebukun? Is it the one in Ajiolo? All over. We are remodeling. What we inherited was an eyesore in 2016. When I say we, I'm talking about a system starting from the era of His Excellency Alhaji Yahaya Adoza Bello in 2016. What was inherited in 2016 was an eyesore. So there was a deliberate plan to begin to remodel and then have what Kogi children deserve. And that is why we are building all of those schools. Some were built by Alhaji Yahaya Bello. The present governor is continuing from there to remodel our schools. It is not impossible to find some of the schools that we inherited, some of the schools built by previous administrations before Alhaji Yahaya Bello. You will still find some of them. We are remodeling gradually. We cannot do all at once, but I think Kogites are very happy with what we are doing. When you go to the tertiary institution, just like I said, when you go to any of our campuses today, it has become construction sites. You know, you have construction of hostels, auditoriums, laboratories, so that we can keep up to the standard that we are setting to ensure that our students are able to compete globally with their counterparts anywhere in the world. And it's already happening. You know, we are not just doing this. You know, this this system, this administration is working with the education law. In Kogi, we have a law guiding education. It is not just that the government has to choose to support education. It is mandatory that government must ensure they provide education to the people. It is also compulsory that every child in Kogi is educated. If your child is of school age and is not in school, under our law, we will prosecute the parents or the guardians. So these are some of the things that we are doing. But we are not doing it in a way that it will be uncomfortable for them or because of some economic challenges. No. From primary 1 to senior secondary school 3, no Kogi child pays a dime. It is free of charge. You don't pay. It is free education. Free, and we are not just making it free. We are ensuring that the standards are very high. And that's why our students are doing very well in both internal and external examinations. It is not that it will be free. Then when you get to primary schools, 6, GSS 3, SS 3, they start asking you of examination fees. No, we have eliminated that. The state government pays for all internal and external examinations. And to shock you further, through ACRISAL, you know, we are particular about our girl child. It is critical. When you build a girl, you are building a nation. A girl will be a mother. A girl will be a wife. A girl will raise children. So it means that you must ensure that they have the right education so that we can have the right society. And because of that, through our collaboration also with our international partners, we are also, through Agile, we are also paying allowances to our girls that are in secondary school. So it is not just about you just going to school free. We are also paying you for going to school. And that is why when you check the statistics, you see that Kogi is recording one of the lowest rates of out-of-school children in northern Nigeria and one of the best in the country. Our budgetary allocation since 2017 has been such that education is the priority. We are not, because that is the bulwark of development. You cannot have development without having quality education. So that is education. When you come to healthcare, you can see the revolution going on. It is massive. You can over 250 primary healthcare centers across the state are being remodeled. Yes, the predecessor to the present governor concentrated more on secondary and tertiary health institutions, building world-class health facilities. But the present administration is going to the grassroots to strengthen primary healthcare delivery. And that is why every ward you go to in Kogi State today, you will see the projects going on. So they see all of these things, and that is why they are worried. I'm just picking these three out of so many. You know, I can go on and on and on. Let me also say this emphatically. If a government is not performing, the opposition will be happy. The opposition will not be worried. The opposition will not be shouting on television. They would be happy that, look, yes, because they are not performing, we'll vote them out in the next election. But they are worried now because the governor is performing. And they know they don't even stand any chance. If they could get 30% in the last election, they won't get 10% in 2027. The people of Kogi State are happy with Alhaji Yahaya Bello, either the artisans, the civil servants, the women, the farmers, everybody in the state. As we speak, majority of our people are very happy with the governor, they are comfortable with his policies, and they are following him. And that is the worry they are having.
Okay, having said this now, let's talk about the coalition here in Kogi State. Is the Kogi State government scared of the current ADC coalition ahead of the 2027 general election?
You know, as a state and as a party, as a government, we are not seeing any coalition. You know, what we are seeing is what I call renaming of failed people. You know, failed people thought that it was because of their name that they were failing. So they decided to come together and rename themselves. Renaming yourself will not stop you from failing again. It is a crumbling coalition right from the top to the grassroots. And you could see the suspicion. You could see that some people who jumped somewhere before are now jumping to another place now. You could see that some people don't even want to publicly identify with the coalition among the members, the supposed members of the coalition. So how will you be worried about such a coalition? Coalition has no place in Kogi State. As far as this state is concerned, Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo will lead the state to a resounding victory. We are going to give Bola Ahmed Tinubu not less than 95% of the Kogi State votes. The president has done so well for us through his policies. The state government, the local government, they are able to pay their civil servants. They are also able to execute a lot of life-touching projects. Is it the farmers that will vote against Bola Ahmed Tinubu, or the civil servants, or the artisans? Everybody is united behind Jagaban. And you see, we are not worried in the state. We have a governor whose performance is speaking for the government and for the party. We are not worried.
Okay, the SDP candidates, talking about Yakubu Jaka, was formerly in the All Progressive Congress, APC, but right now he's currently in SDP. Is your party making effort to win back?
I don't know whether he's in SDP. I don't even know where Alhaji Yakubu Ajaka is at the moment. He used to be our friend in APC. He was even supported by the immediate past governor, His Excellency Alhaji Yahaya Bello, to become the Deputy National Publicity Secretary. Is it Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the party? And you know, for him to fight the party the way he did, well, our party is always open to everyone. The governor has been able to reconcile a lot of people back into the party. And you could see that even the opposition in the party, the only party we were always jittery about was the PDP, because they are very strong. They were strong somehow in the state. But now, you can see the PDP from the top and all of that. And even in Kogi State, the major stalwarts of the PDP have moved to the All Progressives Congress. So anybody who wants to come back to the party is free to come back to the party. The party is better organized, the party is ready, and we have a governor who is making it so easy for the party to win elections landslide. So we are not stopping anybody who wants to genuinely come and contribute to the growth and development of the party.
Okay, now let me use one stone to kill two birds. My final question for you, Honorable Kingsley Fanwo. I'm doing a special report as it concerns Mod Party. 34 years after the state of creation, it seems Mod Party is yet to see the light of the day, like other tourist centers across the country, like Obuskati Ranch, Tinapa, and many more. Mod Party, this is a place where the man that amalgamated the North and South, talking about Fred Logigard and his fiance, talking about Florence Logigard, they are resting houses in the Mod Party and many more. What has been the problem? Why is Kogi State not harnessing its tourism potential to boost its IGR?
Thank you very much. You realize that this administration is paying a lot of attention to tourism. We have brought an expert, a globally acclaimed expert, Prince Philip Orebi, to come and pilot the affairs of the tourism board in the state, and he's doing very well. We had a carnival last year to attract attention to the state. When you look at Mod Party, we do not, when the examples you cited, if you, I don't know if you visited a place some 6-7 years ago, if you go back there today, they were not what we used to know. And the reason was because government was thinking they could run such businesses. We want to be very strategic in our tourism investments. There are roles to be played by the government. We are playing it. The role is to provide infrastructure and all of that. But the main investment, we are trying to woo the private sector into that industry. When you woo private sector, they will manage it the way private sector businesses are managed. And that is when you can have sustainability. So this administration is turning a lot of reports. We are already implementing part of the reports, and where we need to speed up on infrastructure to those tourist centers, we will expedite action. A lot are being done as we speak.
How soon?
It is a huge project. It is capital intensive. So I will not be able to give you a timeline, but I want to tell you that we are making progress. We are making steady progress. When we are able to provide all of those infrastructure, then we will be able to entice the private sector to invest in those places. Kogi is blessed when it comes to tourism. You know, the governor locked some of us in the room when he came, and I know of a sure that he is committed to tourism development. He is working very hard to ensure that we develop our tourism industry in the state. We are strategically located. We have everything to make the best of our tourism industry. Look at the confluence of rivers Niger and Benue. Look at Mod Party. Look at a lot of tourist attractions all over the state, including our festivals, the masquerades of the Ibiras, the OVSSA of the Ogori Magongo people, the Egungun and the Yawo of the Okun people, this one in Ida, you know, and all of those things. We are trying to ensure that we promote our tourism in the state.
Finally, sir, Honorable Commissioner. Now, let's talk about the encroachment. It appears that Mod Party land is being encroached by invaders and many more. What efforts is the government doing in place to recapture this land? And secondly, what's the fate of Kogi Hotel? Currently, it appears to be a rice, a place where you now store rice. And also, what's the fate of Confidence Beach Hotel? Right now, it's currently in a dilapidated state.
Yes, that's why I said it takes a process. It takes a process. We need heavy investments. We need investors. We need private investors. You know, when the state government was operating Kogi hotels, were they breaking even? You will see commissioners, you see high-ranking government officials will just pack guests and put them there and say, when you get there, tell them that I sent you here. You know, but if a private sector is running it, you can't do that. So we are studying a lot of reports to know where we are going to attack some of these issues. We want the best for our people. We cannot just, if we need somewhere to store the palliatives that we give to our people, and we have spaces there, of course, we'll make use of that doesn't stop the process that we are working on. The Confluence Beach Hotel, you know, it is also an area where we are trying to bring in investors. We don't want our government to run business because governments have no business in business. What we need to do is to provide the right atmosphere, the right environment, the right infrastructure for some of these things to thrive.
Thank you very much, Uncle.
Thank you.